Dear children, I hope all of you are safe at home. Don't be panic during this pandemic situation. Everything will be healed. Nature is the best healer. Humankind is always in search of happiness that is far beyond his reach. But the eternal bliss is around us, around this nature. Search it, find it, and enjoy it. William Wordsworth, a major English romantic poet, known as the poet of nature, describes such a theme through his most celebrated poem, Lines Written in Early Spring. Today, we will read and appreciate the lines written by William Wordsworth.
William Wordsworth, one of the major figures in the history of English literature, was born on 7th April 1770 in Cockermouth, United Kingdom. In collaboration with his friend Samuel Taylor Coleridge, he published a collection of poems titled Lyrical Ballads in 1798, which marked the beginning of the Romantic Age in the English literature. His semi-autobiographical work, The Prelude, is considered to be his masterpiece. He was Britain's Poet Laureate from 1843 until his death. He passed away on 23rd April 1850.
Before getting into the poem, we should know some of the main characteristics of romantic literature. Romantic poetry or literature focus on the writer or writer's emotions and inner world. The theme of those literature may be celebration of nature, beauty, family, love, and imagination. Romantic writers rejected industrialization. The cause to compose this poem is the French Revolution. The poet feels sad seeing the cruelty of man to mankind and to the nature. Be ready with your English text, notebook, a pen and a pencil. Open page number 30 of your textbook. You are ready, aren't you? Yes. Nature is always wonder and mysterious too. A trip to nature and its beauty is always fascinating. Here is a short picnic to the nature. While traveling, never forget to enjoy the scenery. You enjoyed it, didn't you? Yes, I know. Now, shall we enjoy the beauty of the lines? Okay? Look at the poem. If you find any difficulty in the poem, underline it with your pencil. Listen to the poem. I shall read it.
Lines written in early spring by William Wordsworth. I heard 1,000 blended notes, while in a grove I sate reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts in that green bower, the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and 'tis my fate that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man?
You listened it well, right? Yes or no? No? Do you want to listen it once again? Then let me ask one of my friends to recite it again for you. Listen.
Lines Written in Early Spring by William Wordsworth. I heard 1,000 blended notes, while in a grove I sate reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts in that green bower the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and 'tis my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man?
The theme of the poem. The poet discusses mainly three things through this poem: the beautiful sights and sounds, the peace and solace in the world of nature bring pleasant thoughts to the mind of the poet. But the activities of discord, disharmony and destruction in the world of humans make the poet sad. Humans not only harm themselves but also destroy nature. They destroy forests and pollute the air and water. They exploit natural resources without least consideration to other creatures on earth, as well as ignoring their own future generations, and thus prepare a wreath for nature's death. Nature's holy plan of coexistence pleases the poet, and at the same time, the violation of this holy plan by human beings pains the poet.
Now, we will have an analysis of the poem. For that, I have to be a doctor for a while, because I wanted to make a postmortem of this poem. The poem, lines written in early spring, is written in quatrains. Quatrains means a stanza of 4 lines each. Each stanza follows the rhyme scheme of ABAB. In short, the poem Lines Written in Early Spring is written in 6 quatrains following the rhyme scheme of ABAB. In all the stanzas, use only English small letters to indicate rhyme scheme.
Stanza 1, lines 1 to 4.
I heard 1,000 blended notes, while in a grove I sate reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind.
The poet is reclining in a grove and he heard 1,000 blended notes. Means, if you sit in a grove or in a forest, there will be a lot of sounds connected together. Maybe of sounds of birds, breeze, waterfalls, grasshoppers, river, etc. But definitely we cannot count. Maybe more than 1,000 sounds. The poet feels it as a music by nature, and he becomes happy. His mind is filled with pleasant thoughts. Even then, he becomes sad because of the thoughts of human beings' cruelty. Children, see the line. I heard 1,000 blended notes. It is an example for the poetic device hyperbole, that is, exaggerated expression. And you might have noticed the word sate. It's an old English word, or we say it's an archaic word, used instead of sat in modern English as a past form of sit. The rhyming verse in the first stanza, notes, thoughts, reclined mind. For the examination, if you are asked to write a pair of rhyming verse, means you have to write notes, thoughts, reclined mind. If you write either of notes, thoughts or reclined mind, you will lose your mark. പരീക്ഷയ്ക്ക് ചിലപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങളോട് റൈമിംഗ് വേർഡ്സിൻ്റെ ഒരു പെയർ എഴുതാനായിട്ട് ആവശ്യപ്പെടാം. ഒരു പെയർ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇപ്പോൾ എക്സാമ്പിൾ നോട്ട്സ് തോട്ട്സ് എന്ന് മാത്രം എഴുതി വെച്ചാൽ അത് ഒരു പെയർ ആകില്ല. അതുപോലെ ഒരു ജോഡി കൂടെ വന്നാൽ മാത്രമേ ഒരു പെയർ ആവുകയുള്ളൂ. അതായത് നോട്ട്സ് തോട്ട്സ് റിക്ലൈൻഡ്
മൈൻഡ്. ഇത്രയും എഴുതിയാൽ മാത്രമേ ഒരു മാർക്ക് കിട്ടുകയുള്ളൂ. ഇതിൽ പകുതിയാണ് എഴുതുന്നതെങ്കിൽ അത് ചിലപ്പോൾ അര മാർക്കായിട്ട് കുറയാം. സോ നെവർ കമ്മിറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് മിസ്റ്റേക്ക്. The rhyme scheme of the poem is ABAB. Use only small letters to indicate rhyme scheme. Find out the rhyme scheme of each stanza separately, beginning with A. The last word of the first line rhymes with the last word of third line, and the last word of second line rhymes with the last word of fourth line. Hence, we say the stanza has a rhyme scheme of ABAB. The visual image in the poem in this stanza is grow. While reading the word grow, the visual of grow can be imagined in the reader's mind. Then there is an auditory image in the first stanza, that is blended notes. While reading the words blended notes, we feel as if we hear it. ഇപ്പോൾ വിഷ്വൽ ഇമേജ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ പോയത്തിലെ വരികൾ വായിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ മനസ്സിൽ, വായനക്കാരൻ്റെ മനസ്സിൽ, വായിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടിയുടെ മനസ്സിൽ ചിത്രങ്ങൾ തെളിയുന്നത് പോലെ തോന്നുന്നുണ്ട് എങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വിഷ്വൽ ഇമേജ്. ആൻഡ് ഓഡിറ്ററി ഇമേജ് മീൻസ് വരികൾ വായിക്കുമ്പോൾ അത് കേൾക്കുന്നത് പോലെ ഫീൽ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട് എങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓഡിറ്ററി ഇമേജ്. ബ്ലെൻഡഡ് നോട്ട്സ്. When the poet sits in the grove, he hears blended notes, 1,000 blended notes. That's example for auditory image. In brief, the first stanza is: the poet was reclining in a grove. His mind is filled with pleasant and sad thoughts. Dear children, now we listen to a translation of first stanza in Malayalam.
ഒരായിരം മിശ്രനാദങ്ങൾ ഞാൻ കേൾക്കയായി, ഒരു കൊച്ചു തോപ്പിൽ ആശ്വാസം പൂണ്ടു ഞാനിരിക്കവേ, മധുരം കിനിയുമാ ഭാവനിലയിലും ഉല്ലാസ ചിന്തകൾ കൊണ്ടുവന്നൻ മനസ്സിലേക്കാകുല ചിന്തകൾ.
Stanza 2, lines from 5 to 8.
To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man.
Nature does right to its creatures by linking the soul that flows through the poet and the souls of human beings. Or else, he says, as human beings, nature also has soul. Man's soul is inseparable from nature. The poet's heart is filled with grief because of the thought of what man has done to man and to the nature. He is not in link or in concord with man and nature. He is always in discord with them, especially when they face struggles, war, epidemics, or even pandemics, etc. The personification we see in this stanza is: to her fair works did nature link. This line is example for personification. Here the poet considers nature as a person, considering nature as her. Even the word nature begins with capital letter N as proper noun. Remember, we begin person's name with capital letter. When human qualities are given to natural objects, it is personified. Here, nature is personified. Personification എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ പോയത്തിലെ വരികളിൽ മനുഷ്യരുടെ ക്വാളിറ്റി പ്രകൃതിയിലെ വസ്തുക്കൾക്ക് ഉണ്ട് എന്ന് സങ്കല്പിക്കുമ്പോൾ, അങ്ങനെ എഴുതുമ്പോൾ ആ വരികളെയാണ് പെർസോണിഫിക്കേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുക. ഇവിടെ വേർഡ്സ്വർത്ത് കൺസിഡേഴ്സ് നേച്ചർ, അതായത് പ്രകൃതിയെ പെൺകുട്ടിയോട് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നു. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇതിന് പെർസോണിഫിക്കേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുക. The rhyming words in the stanza are link, think, ran, man. The use of alliteration can be seen in third and fourth lines. And much it grieved my heart to think. In this line, the consonant nasal sound m is repeated twice as the beginning of two words, much, my. When consonant sound is repeated in the same line more than once as the beginning of verse, it is example for alliteration. ഒരേ വരിയിൽ തന്നെ ഒന്നിൽ കൂടുതൽ പ്രാവശ്യം വാക്കുകളുടെ തുടക്കത്തിൽ കോൺസണൻറ്റ് സൗണ്ട്സ് ആവർത്തിക്കപ്പെട്ടാൽ അത് അലിറ്ററേഷൻ എന്നാണ് പറയുക. ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് there are 24 consonant sounds. ഇനി കോൺസണൻറ്റ് സൗണ്ടുകൾ വാക്കുകൾക്കിടയിൽ വന്നാൽ അത് അലിറ്ററേഷൻ അല്ല, അത് കോൺസണൻസ് മാത്രമായി നിലനിൽക്കും. അപ്പോൾ ഒരേ വരിയിൽ തന്നെ ഒന്നിൽ കൂടുതൽ വാക്കുകളുടെ തുടക്കത്തിൽ കോൺസണൻറ്റ് സൗണ്ട് ആവർത്തിക്കപ്പെട്ടാൽ മാത്രമേ അത് അലിറ്ററേഷൻ ആവുകയുള്ളൂ. വാക്കുകൾക്കിടയിൽ അതേ ശബ്ദം ആവർത്തിക്കപ്പെട്ടാൽ അത് അലിറ്ററേഷൻ അല്ല. In the fourth line of this stanza, the line, "What man has made of man." In this line, 3 times the sound m is repeated as the beginning of the words man, made, man. That is example for alliteration. In brief, we can sum up the second stanza as the nature linked its works with the human soul, but man has lost his link with the nature. Dear children, shall we listen to the translation of the second stanza in Malayalam?
പ്രകൃതി അവൾ തൻ കളങ്കമറ്റ കർമ്മങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ബന്ധിപ്പൂ, എന്നിലൂടെയോടുന്ന മനുഷ്യാത്മാവിനെ. അപ്പോഴുമെൻ മനസ്സിനെ മതിക്കുന്നു ചിന്തിക്കവേ, മനുഷ്യൻ മനുഷ്യനോട് ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്തെന്നോർത്ത്.
Stanza 3, lines from 9 to 12.
Through primrose tufts in that green bower, the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and 'tis my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes.
This is poet's belief that all the plants, flowers like primrose, tufts, which means a group of something, ഒരു കൂട്ടം, periwinkle, trailed, means followed, and give up each other to form green bower, or wreaths. Here, wreath means a cluster of flowers. And all these flowers live in harmony with the nature. They are friendly and lovable. The poet wishes to convey the message that everything in nature is living harmoniously and enjoy themselves, except man alone. The pictures based on this stanza are given in the video. You might have noticed in the picnic section. The rhyming verse in this stanza: bower, flower, wreaths, breathes. Visual images are primrose tufts, green bower, periwinkle flower, etc. Olfactory images can also be seen in this stanza. They are primrose, periwinkle, flower, etc. Olfactory image means while reading the poem, if you feel as if you smell something, വരികൾ വായിക്കുമ്പോൾ മണം തിരിച്ചറിയുന്നത് പോലെ തോന്നുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, that is example for olfactory image. Periwinkle, primrose, flower, rose എന്ന വാക്കുകൾ വായിക്കുമ്പോൾ ആ പൂക്കളുടെ മണം കിട്ടുന്നതായി തോന്നും. അങ്ങനെ തോന്നുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതാണ് ഓൾഫാക്ടറി ഇമേജ്. ഇവിടെ ഈ വാക്കുകൾ പെരിവിങ്കിൾ, പ്രിംറോസ് ഇവയെല്ലാം ഒരേ സമയം വിഷ്വൽ ഇമേജും ഓൾഫാക്ടറി ഇമേജും ആണ്. കാരണം അവയെ വായിക്കുമ്പോൾ മനസ്സിൽ കാണാനും സ്മെൽ ചെയ്യാനും സാധിക്കും. There is also example for personification in this stanza. The line enjoys the air it breathes. മനുഷ്യൻ്റെ ക്വാളിറ്റിയായ ബ്രീതിങ് കവി ഇവിടെ ഫ്ലവറിന് കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നു. That means flower is personified. Please note the second line. The periwinkle trailed its wreaths. It's an example for assonance. What do you mean by assonance? Assonance is just opposite to what alliteration is. Repetition of the same vowel sounds in the same line of the poem is considered as assonance. There are 20 vowel sounds in English. പോയത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരേ വരിയിൽ തന്നെ ഒന്നിൽ കൂടുതൽ പ്രാവശ്യം വവൽ സൗണ്ട് ആവർത്തിച്ചു വന്നാൽ അതാണ് അസനൻസ്. എന്നാൽ അലിട്രേഷൻ ഒരേ വരിയിൽ വാക്കുകളുടെ തുടക്കത്തിലായിരിക്കും. കോൺസണൻറ്റ് സൗണ്ട് വരുന്നത് ഓരോ വരിയുടെയും വാക്കുകളുടെ തുടക്കത്തിലായിരിക്കും. പക്ഷെ അസനൻസിൽ വവൽ സൗണ്ട് ഒരേ വരിയിൽ ഒന്നിൽ കൂടുതൽ തവണ വാക്കുകളുടെ തുടക്കത്തിലോ വാക്കുകൾക്കിടയിലോ വരാം. ബട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി ദ സെയിം വവൽ സൗണ്ട്. അസനൻസ് കൂടുതലും വാക്കുകൾക്കിടയിലായിരിക്കും വരിക. ഡു യു നോ വൈ? ബിക്കോസ് ദർ ഈസ് നോ വേർഡ് ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് വിത്തൗട്ട് അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് എ സിംഗിൾ വവൽ സൗണ്ട്. ഒരു വാക്കിൽ എത്ര വവൽ സൗണ്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടോ അത്രയും സിലബിൾസ് ഉണ്ടാവും ആ വാക്കിൽ. See the line again. The periwinkle trailed its wreaths. In this line, the sound E is repeated 4 times. Periwinkle, peri, E, winkle, V, E, trailed, tray, E, its, E. So the sound E is repeated 4 times in this line, hence it is example for assonance. Dear children, we can sum up the meaning of the third stanza as: the flowers in the grove enjoyed themselves in nature, breathing air happily. Dear children, let us listen to the Malayalam translation of the third stanza.
വിലമാമീ പൂങ്കാവനത്തിൽ പ്രിംറോസ് ചെടിക്കൂട്ടങ്ങളിലൂടെ പെരുവിങ്കൽ പടർന്നു കയറി തീർക്കുന്നു പുഷ്പചക്രം. ഇவ்விധം കാഴ്ചകൾ കണ്ടു നിൽക്കവേ എന്നിലുറച്ച വിശ്വാസമാണ്, പൂക്കളെല്ലാം ശ്വാസമെടുക്കുന്നത് ഏറെ ആസ്വദിച്ചു തന്നെ.
Let us analyze the fourth stanza. Lines from 13 to 16.
The birds around me hopped and played. Their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure.
In the fourth stanza, the poet speaks about the happiness of birds in the nature. The birds hoped. Hope means chaduga. Hoped is past form of hope. You might have heard the word grasshopper, pulchadi. See the first picnic video. The birds hopped and played because they are extremely happy. But the poet expresses his inability to measure the thoughts of birds. Why they are always happy without worrying. Even their least motion or movement create thrill of pleasure in him. In the third stanza, the poet speaks of the happiness of plants and flowers, and in fourth stanza he speaks about the pleasure of birds. The rhyming verse in the fourth stanza: played, made, measure, pleasure. The visual image in this stanza: birds. Alliteration is also can be traced in the fourth stanza. In the third line, but the least motion which they made. In this line, the consonant sound m is repeated twice in the beginning of the words motion and made. The meaning of fourth stanza can be briefed as: the birds hopped around and enjoyed themselves. Dear children, let us listen to the Malayalam translation of the fourth stanza.
തുള്ളിച്ചാടി കളിച്ചു തിമർത്തു പറവകൾ എനിക്ക് ചുറ്റും, അവരുടെ ചിന്തകളെ അളക്കുവാൻ ഞാൻ അശക്തനെങ്കിലും അവരുണ്ടാക്കും ചെറുചലനങ്ങളിൽ പോലും ആഹ്ലാദത്തിമർപ്പ് ആവോളമുണ്ടെന്ന് ഞാൻ അറിഞ്ഞു.
Fifth stanza, lines from 17 to 20.
The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there.
The poet says that the budding twigs or the new shoots spread their fan. Here, fan means leaves, to catch the air. The poet can feel even the pleasure enjoyed by the budding twigs. They are also happy. In the third stanza, the poet describes the happiness of flowers. In the fourth stanza, about the happiness of birds, and in this fifth stanza, about the pleasure of budding twigs. So, the poet thinks all the creatures in nature are happy and enjoy their lives, except man. That is the focal point of the poet in the last three stanzas. Rhyming verse in this stanza: fan, can, air, there. Visual images are budding twigs, fan. There is yet another image in this stanza. Underline it with your pencil in the text. Breezy air. It's example for tactile image, which means while reading the word, if you feel as if it touches you, we can feel the touch of breezy air. വരിയിലെ വാക്കുകൾ വായിക്കുമ്പോൾ അത് നമ്മെ സ്പർശിക്കുന്നതായി തോന്നിയാൽ അതാണ് ടാക്റ്റൈൽ ഇമേജ്. There is the wonderful use of yet another personification in this stanza. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air. It is another example for personification. It is human quality to catch something. Here, budding twigs are personified as if they catch the breezy air. Dear children, we can sum up the fifth stanza as: the poet noticed that the twigs were spreading their leaves as if to catch the breezy air. Now, let us listen to the Malayalam translation of the fifth stanza.
വളരും ശിഖരങ്ങളും തളിരില നിവർത്തി വീശും ഇളങ്കാറ്റിനെ പിടിക്കുവാനെന്ന പോൽ ഇவ்விதം കാഴ്ചകൾ കണ്ടു നിൽക്കവേ എനിക്കാകെ ആവതു വിശ്വസിക്ക മാത്രം ഇവിടമാകെ നിറഞ്ഞു നിൽപ്പത് പരമാനന്ദമെന്ന്.
Stanza 6, the last stanza of the poem, lines from 21 to 24.
If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man?
The poet says, if it's nature's holy plan, or even if it is from heaven, that every creature in this nature should be happy and enjoy the pleasure they get from this world. William Wordsworth believes that nature is God and God is nature. So nature makes everything and everybody to enjoy. But he has a reason to lament, and he is sad because of the cruelty of man to his fellow beings and to the nature. Man is not happy and contented with what he has. He aims at the destruction caused to man and nature by man. Example: after effect of war or revolution, destruction, deforestation, etc. The rhyming verse in the last stanza: sent, lament, plan, man. Visual images are heaven, nature, man. There is an auditory image in the last stanza, that is lament. Alliteration is also seen in the last line. In the line, if this belief from heaven be sent. In this line, the consonant sound b is repeated in the words belief and be. The most important lines or the entire message of the poem is revealed in the last two lines. Have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? It is a rhetorical question asked by the poet. It is used in writings. What is a rhetorical question? A question asked in order to create a dramatic effect or to make a point rather than to get an answer. Maybe there will be no answer for a rhetorical question. If I ask you, when will man stop his cruelties to human beings and to nature? Definitely there will be no answer. In short, the summary of the last stanza is: God created nature, and it was the holy plan of God who wanted everyone to be happy. Dear children, now let us listen to the Malayalam translation of the last stanza.
ദൈവത്തിൽ നിന്നുള്ള വിശ്വാസ പ്രമാണമിതെങ്കിൽ, പ്രകൃതി തൻ പാവന പദ്ധതിയും ഇമ്മട്ടിലെങ്കിൽ, കാരണങ്ങൾ എനിക്കേറെയില്ലേ വിലപിക്കുവാൻ, മനുഷ്യൻ മനുഷ്യനോട് ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്തെന്നോർത്ത്.
Dear children, I have completed the postmortem of the poem. The result is here. Watch it. The picture gives you the discussion that we conducted about the poem. All the devices used by the poet is noted with red ink. Dear children, listen to the poem once again and find out answers for the questions given in your text and write in your notebook.
Lines written in early spring by William Wordsworth. Read for LibriVox.org by Kristen Hughes. I heard 1,000 blended notes while in a grove I sat reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts in that green bower the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and 'tis my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man?
Activity 2. Write an appreciation of the poem Lines Written in Early Spring by William Wordsworth. I hope you enjoyed the poem. Thank you.